because your metabolism will get back to its pre-diet condition within like 1 to 3 days. So extending that period by increasing your calories by only 100 a week, besides being hard to track, doesn't make sense. Hello and welcome to today's Q&A, where I will answer questions you asked on the social media. If you have any questions, make sure to post them down in the comments below or reach me directly through Facebook or Instagram. They are linked in the description below. Let's get to it. When starting a cut after a reverse dieting, is it better to ease into it by decreasing calories slowly, about 100 each week, or take a more aggressive approach, decrease by 500 calories right off the bat? And I mean, what's the point of decreasing it in stages, like by 100 calories after reverse diet? I mean, it's just like when you started your normal dieting cycle, right? You go into diet, you want to decrease your calories by about 500 calories right off the bat. I don't not aware of any reason why you would want to do it by 100 calories at a time. So just go for the cut, go for 500 calories and work with that if that is attainable for you. The one exception that I would say is that what I noticed is that smaller women, but also for smaller guys like myself, maybe that 500 calories cut might be too much for you because you are already at a relatively low calorie intake. So if you have like your maintenance calories, for example, at 1700 calories, because you are small, you don't have a lot of energy expenditure, then cutting 500 calories is not really attainable for a longer period of time. That is why you want to cut maybe by 250 calories. Of course, you would not see as much results or not as quickly because you are not getting into as big deficit, but it is a way how you can ensure that you are losing weight in step-by-step basis. So don't try to aim for a specific number if you are someone like that. You know, on the other hand, there are people who have, like, let's say my maintenance currently is about 2700 calories, so cutting from there, it's very easy. When it comes to reverse dieting, so when you were in a cut for a certain amount of time, so you were in a caloric reduced state and you want to increase your calories back to your maintenance levels, is it better to just increase in small increments, like day by day, or week by week, by 100 calories, or just jump back into your maintenance calories? Because some people are afraid that by gaining or increasing right away by, let's say, 500 calories or 700 calories or whatever that might be for you, then you would gain fat, and we can observe that. But let me bring this into the context. After a weight loss diet, after you've lost certain amount of weight, also your maintenance would be lower than before your diet, because you are just lighter, smaller person. So you have no way of knowing your new maintenance calories. So that is why increasing by 100 calories at a time might be more appealing, might work better for people. It also helps you to avoid, let's say, binge eating if you are like a bodybuilder after that bodybuilding preparation period. So that can really help. But these small increments of 100 calories a week are really hard to track. So what I would suggest for a normal person is to just increase calories by, let's say, this 3, 4, or even 500 if you were trying to maintain like 500 calories deficit. Because your metabolism will get back to its pre-diet condition within like 1 to 3 days. So extending that period by increasing your calories by only 100 a week, besides being hard to track. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any practical sense. There is no difference. So just get back to it and note C. What can be scary for many people is that once they do this, let's say you increase these calories after a diet by 500, suddenly what you will notice is that your number on the scale will go up, and that is really scary. But that is usually just your glycogen and water weight. So, keep also most of these calories that you are increasing possibly from protein, as it is harder to store, but you don't necessarily need to. Basically, just don't eat junk food. Focus on getting these calories from whole foods, and you will be fine. Do average calories over the course of the week matter more for fat loss and muscle gain, or do daily calories matter more? If you eat primarily in a severe deficit for 5 days and then eat a very high amount of food for 2 days or maintenance to average out at around maintenance per day, how does this affect your body as opposed to just eating relatively the same amount of calories every day? So this is quite typical question or concern from the practical perspective. Many people have no problem dieting or maintaining that caloric deficit throughout the week, and that is simply because they are at work, right? They are busy, they have their attention on something different. But during weekend they have more time, they spend time with family, maybe go visit friends, go to parties and so on. So it is like socially more appealing to them to eat more calories. And sometimes, it can go awry. And what I mean by that, they go on these weekend splurges. But when we speak about weight loss specifically, the calories in one day don't really matter. It's more about what we can do over a long period of time. That is, you can be in a caloric deficit one day and be in a caloric surplus or getting that extra calories the next day. It balances out, and we are concerned about that overall balance at the end, not only at the end of the day, but at the end of the week. Because maybe today I'm in a 200 caloric deficit, but if I'm in a 300 caloric surplus the next day, I will slowly gain weight in that manner. I'm not suggesting that 100 calories surplus would result in like huge weight gain or anything like that, but that's a topic for a different video. Anyway, the question was like, if you would eventually balance it out, so you would be in a severe caloric deficit, and then during the weekend you would eat so much that you would be at the maintenance level. Well, what would happen? During those 5 days you would be losing fat slowly, but that extra energy that you would get during those 5 days hypothetically would be stored as a fat. But what we see in reality is that the compensation that occurs during overfeeding, like when you eat a lot more than your body actually needs, it just doesn't store all those extra calories of food. It increases your metabolic rate, it increases also your need, or basically not exercise energy expenditure. So you move more, and in that way it increases, your overall energy expenditure, so you are not getting into as high energy surplus. The point is, if you are in average over the whole week, it should not just change or make a difference in the end, if that makes sense. I recently read that a lot of people that eat whole food diet are low in iodine. I also noticed while shopping that most table salt no longer has iodine added, and it's usually at the bottom of the shelves. Since low iodine affects thyroid health, symptoms such as tiredness, hair loss, and dry skin, I'm wondering if regular use of iodine salt can be beneficial for both the issues of electrolytes and iodine specifically, or has the iodine been removed from most salts for some other health reasons that I can't find? And that's a really good question. Iodine is one of those minerals that we get not much in our diet, and that is actually why salt has been enriched with it. And that is like traditional way how we solve these issues. Of course, you can get iodine from whole foods, such as from seafood, but also from milk and other dairy products. This is specifically a mineral of concern in vegan diet or people who don't consume dairy and seafood. So yeah, I suggest for anyone eating iodide salt or iodized salt, and there is nothing wrong with it. It actually has a benefit for you, and especially if you eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables, you know, they can affect thyroid hormones, and the point is like how much is too much. So for a general person, probably not a concern, but for someone who is like on a vegan diet, especially like raw vegan diet, that could be troublesome if you eat like really bowls of salads each day. There is no like a clear-cut example of that, but probably you would need to have that tested to be sure. Aside from that, food sources such as like dairy and seafood and seaweed specifically for vegans, it's not a reliable source of iodine, and you can even get too much of it if you choose to get it from those foods specifically. Specifically, I'm meaning seaweed and from seafood. So yeah, it's something to be aware of, but when it comes to salt, I would generally suggest to use these iodized salts. They just don't have as good PR as like these pink Himalayan salts and the other that are on the top of the shelf and that are also much more expensive. Why can't different diet camps just admit that there is no perfect diet and just get along with their day? It's infuriating listening to these zealots. I would love to hear you discuss this. This is amazing. It infuriates me as well. And I belong to the, let's say, vegan camp. And when I speak anything that doesn't go with the traditional way of thinking within this camp, you know, you are in for a lot of fire. And it's our natural. We want to belong to camps. So that's, I have a video actually on that, discussing this specifically. So go check it out, where I explain more. But if you are interested, also a good book I would like to mention is Diet Cult by Matt Fitzgerald. So go check it out if you want to learn more, and also watch the video. If nutritional labels can be up to 20% incorrect, or there is a tolerance for the nutrition labels to be off based on calories, how can I assure I'm counting calories correctly? So one thing what you can do is just to go by macros, because calorie counts are usually rounded up or rounded down based on those things. For example, the trick that marketers use with cooking sprays is if one portion is less than 5 calories, then it can be labeled as 0-calorie food. So what you can do, you can make like 0.1 second spray of this cooking oil, and that would be less than 5 calories, and it means like it's a 0-calorie spray. Well, per that portion or per that suggested use. but that doesn't mean that it contains 0 calories, right? But it's rounded down.
So here is what one serving size of this crap would look like. That's it. Ready for it again? That's it. That's small. And this is how most people do it. Not the same. The second one with all that long spray is probably 150 to 200 calories of straight oil BS.
And this happens in different ways, in different marketing terms. So yeah, go by the macros. That's the first advice. The second thing is, from the longer perspective of time, what I really suggest people to do, because I don't like them to track for a year straight, or for extended periods of times, because for many people it's just bothersome and it doesn't provide like added benefit. So what you can do is, if you eat certain foods day after day after day, usually we rotate through like 10 foods or 10 meals that we have that are our favorite. And you can notice this like anytime you are trying a new recipe or whatever. Maybe you tried once, but then it just collects dust on the shelf, so to speak. So when you have that stability, or those meals that are reoccurring, you can simply adjust the portion sizes. You don't even need to know like how many calories you are eating. In that way, you can truly just eat less if you want to reduce your weight, or eat a little bit more if you want to gain weight over time. So it's a really easy way how to just change your portion sizes when you eat the certain foods over and over again, without even bothering about like how many calories it has. And this is like maybe for somebody who is more advanced, they already have awareness of the calories, what foods, what macronutrients contain, and especially if you don't need to watch your calories or macros closely. So once again, if you have any more questions, an easy way how to do that is to comment down below, or reach me through Instagram or Facebook and send me direct message right there. If you like this video and want to know more, then just follow, like, share, subscribe.